Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. My name is Kyle, and today I'm bringing you a very important episode when it comes to looking at running back ones and twos for fantasy football in 2021. We're going to be going over my opportunity report from 2020, just kind of looking at the usage rates from last season. We're going to look at who had the most carries, the most like the targets. All of that adds up, and we want running backs who are going to get opportunity. So on the fantasyfellowship.com, I did put a link in the description below too, but the 2020 opportunity report, and it's one of the most important stats that I look for, and it helps me project. If you wanted to purchase the 2021 draft kit, you're going to see the opportunity, percentages here. We'll look at target percentages and stuff later for some of the other positions, but the one that most correlates to running back is this opportunity percentage. And I'll kind of just define that here at the top of the show. So opportunity share is the number of rushing attempts and targets a player gets divided by the total number of a team's offensive plays. And that gives us a percentage, basically letting us know that this is how many times a player they tried to get the ball to this player on a whole season scope of work. So essentially we want to target players who are projected a lot of opportunities. So this is a really important stat, and it helped me project some running backs last season that actually finished as running back ones. Two of the guys that I took in my most important league, Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs, both those guys finished as running back ones here. If you look at the PPR, Aaron Jones RB5, Josh Jacobs RB8, even in a PPR league. So what's cool about this is sometimes you can ignore PPR and just kind of go for the players that are going to be projected opportunity. So here we go. We have the opportunity share from 20. This is looking at the numbers from last season. So you see Derrick Henry was at the top of the list. He had 378 rushing attempts, 31 targets. He had a whopping 409 opportunities, and that was roughly 40.5% of Tennessee's offense. And there you see he finished as the running back 3 in a PPR league. And if you notice here, before we even look at some of the names, just look at where people finished in PPR formats and their opportunity share. So it's filtered by opportunity share. It's only going to get down or lower as we go down. But basically, if you had a high opportunity share, you finished as a top 10 running back. And you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The top 9 running backs all finished as a top 10 running back in PPR league. So the higher opportunities that you have, you're more likely to score as a running back 1. So this is true for Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, James Robinson, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, Ezekiel Elliott, Alvin Kamara, and Aaron Jones and Jonathan Taylor. So last year, if you drafted based on opportunity share, you're looking at a really good opportunity for a running back 1. And then there's some kind of, every now and then there's going to be some outliers. So Melvin Gordon and Kenyon Drake, these guys just finished outside of the RB1 territory. They finished 14th and 15th, but they still had a really high opportunity rate. So they might have disappointed based on ADP, but 14th and 15th in an RB, PPR finish, that's not the worst. And then you got Kareem Hunt finishing up here with about 25% of the Cleveland touches, and he was RB10. So typically you want running backs that are projected a ton of opportunity. And it's very likely, again, 10 times out of 12 here with, just filtered by opportunity and how they finished in PPR, we have 10 running backs out of 12 who finished as a RB1. So that's really interesting to note. So looking ahead, we're probably going to go look at this 2021 projections document, and I'll just kind of show you guys who I have currently projected for the top opportunity shares. That's going to be Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook. Let me just zoom in a little bit here so you guys can read some of this. But we got, again, CMC, Derrick Henry, Cook, Barkley. Mixon comes at number 5, assuming he plays a full healthy, 17, 16 game season. Najee Harris comes in at 6, Ezekiel Elliott, Jacobs, Nick Chubb, Mike Davis, that's an interesting name there, Jonathan Taylor, and David Montgomery. So the names that stick out, I think Mike Davis, of course, no one's really projecting him to have that big of a season, but based on what we just looked at with these opportunity numbers from last year, he's got what's the math here? 10 divided by 12. I can't do percentages in my head right now, but that's like an 83% chance that Mike Davis could be a running back 1 just on the volume alone that he would receive. I have him projected for 255 carries, about 41 catches, 51 targets. So he's going to be heavily utilized in that Atlanta offense. So Mike Davis is a name that sticks out right now. He's been a guy that I've been drafting as my running back like 2 or 3, and he's potentially an RB1 based on what this data is telling us. So I'm super interested in Mike Davis. Other names that kind of stick out here, Najee Harris as high as number 6. I mean, he's really the only game in town in Pittsburgh. They're going to give him the carries. He's going to be their leading running back, catching passes too. So Najee Harris, don't shy away from Najee Harris in round 3. I think that would be wrong. A couple other names stick out here. Josh Jacobs. Again, a lot of people are nervous about Kenyon Drake coming in and stealing a lot of work. But even if you just project Jacobs for what he did last year, there's still an extra game added to that. And they did give Devontae Booker quite a bit of touches last year. So I even, for these projections, I lowered Jacobs' rushing attempts from last season, and I even lowered his targets and his receptions. And he still comes in at a really high usage rate. And then I just want to plug in another article that I did. If you do sign up for the 2021 draft kit, it's $15. It's only one-time payment. It's $15 for June and July. We might up it to $20 in August. We'll see how we're feeling about that. But if you do sign up for the 2021 draft kit, I do have this new tab called the Red Zone Stats. And this is going to open up. Just look at how many carries Josh Jacobs had inside the 5 last season. He did have 18 attempts. He had 5 rushing touchdowns. Now, Arizona used Kenyon Drake a lot. So I'm interested in to see if they allow Kenyon Drake to kind of eat into Josh Jacobs' touches there. You can kind of keep scrolling and you'll find inside the 10. That's where Josh Jacobs dominated the touches. He had 35 total attempts, 9 touchdowns from inside the 10. So he is their primary goal line back. And then even inside the 20, when the Raiders get inside the 20-yard line, the red zone, they're going to give Josh Jacobs the damn ball. So 64 attempts, 11 touchdowns. A really good potential here for Josh Jacobs to get the ball. And I mean, Kenyon Drake was a pretty good running back for the Cardinals last season, but I just think that he's going to be more of a backup to Josh Jacobs. So don't shy away from Jacobs. As you can see, I do have Jacobs here projected. Again, this is last year's numbers, but he was the 4th best running back in opportunity share. Even if he comes down a little bit, he's still going to be looking. I mean, you could give him almost 200 some carries and 30 some targets. He's still going to finish as a potential running back 1. So he's a guy that sticks out on this report. And then a couple other names here. Nick Chubb, continue drafting Nick Chubb. David Montgomery still gonna get a lot of carries, and the targets should come down, but he's kind of qualifying pretty high there. I do have Aaron Jones and Alvin Kamara just on the outside of the running back 1s, but again, they're going to both be around 200 plus carries, and they're easily going to be the leading receivers for their team at the running back position. Austin Eckler, again, these guys that aren't going to get a lot of carries, but they're going to get a lot of targets. I do have a study here that we're going to look at, and I'll show you guys in a second. But Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Eckler, there's Cam Akers, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So all of these guys are looking like really good running back twos. If I just kind of highlight these guys, again, that's Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Austin Eckler, Cam Akers, Clyde Edwards, Antonio Gibson, Miles Sanders, J.K. Dobbins, Chris Carson. There's Myles Gaskin. Damian Harris sneaks in, and DeAndre Swift is kind of low. But that gives you an idea. Basically, these are the guys that I would maybe consider drafting as a top 25 running back this season. And then I just want to show you guys a couple of the other things. If you do sign up for the 2021 draft kit, it does come with some literature here, and it says target elite RB1s over 30% opportunity share. And then target elite running backs over 240 projected carries. I'll scroll back up here. So looking at the opportunity, and I'll show you guys again. So we want running back that's going to be over 30% opportunity share. That's kind of the threshold here. So David Montgomery and up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 running backs had a 30% share of opportunity last season. They all finished in the top 8. So that's a really good number here too. So if we look at my projections real quick, the guys that I have projected over 30% opportunity share, very likely that they finished RB1s if they finish the season. That's the 6 that I have highlighted here. Let's look at the guys that have projected 240 plus carries. That's going to put us, again, you look at the opportunities here, and then you look at carries. So basically everybody, the top 6 guys all had 240 plus carries. And Kenyon Drake was close, but I don't think any other running back had more than 240 carries. So again, you're looking at the top 6 running backs here: Henry, Cook, J-Rob, Jacobs, Montgomery, and Elliott. The lowest that they finished was running back 9. So if you see the running backs getting 240 carries, you're looking at a pretty good opportunity for a running back 1. Currently, I have too many running backs projected over 240 carries. That goes down from Saquon, Cam Akers, Montgomery. You can kind of see all the running backs that I have here. So if again, injuries happen, things kind of fall out of place. But I do have right now 13 running backs that are projected over 240 carries, a very strong chance that they finish as a running back one, assuming that they play the full season. So let's continue looking for some of these thresholds that I have here. The next one says target running back ones over 200 projected carries. So if you look here, you're looking at this list. Everybody on this list besides Kamara and Kareem Hunt over 200 carries. And that's not including their work in the passing game. So Kamara, even though he only had 187 rushing attempts, he still had, finished number one overall in PPR. He had 107 total targets. And then Kareem Hunt down here with 198 rushing attempts. That's basically 200. But, it's a good indicator. You want the 200 in total carries roughly for a running back one. If I scroll on farther down here, and I'll show you guys, these are the guys that rank 13th through 24th in opportunity share. Nobody really was over 200 carries in this department. Ronald Jones was close. Todd Gurley was close. Nick Chubb was very close, but he also finished as RB11. So the closer you are to at least 200 projected carries, you have a really strong chance of finishing as a running back one. So if I look here, I do have a handful of guys that are around 200 some carries. We'll go to the 215. So that's potentially Chris Carson, Austin Eckler, Aaron Jones, James Conner, Damian Harris, Antonio Gibson. And just consider that these projections are done assuming everything happens well, everyone's healthy. I don't like to subtract games too many from injury-prone players, but I'm looking at a potential of 22 running backs here that I would have no problem. I would include Kamara and Gaskin here. This is my running back list that I would want to draft from. So I hope that helps a little bit there. We'll kind of keep scrolling down here. So we have a total so far of you want a running back over 30% opportunity share. You want a running back one that's going to get over 240 carries. If he doesn't get 240 carries, does he at least get to 200 or above? And then here's the last important stat. For running back ones, you want running backs that are over 250 total rushing and targets here. So if you scroll back up and look at these opportunity numbers, all of these guys are over 250 total opportunities. Kareem Hunt's right at the door with 249. But basically, if you finished over 250 total opportunities, you're looking at a top 15 running back season here. You see Kenyon Drake was number 270 total opportunities. He finished as RB15. So again, if you get 250 total opportunities, you have a really strong chance at finishing as a running back one. And if I show you guys here, these are the guys that finished 13th through 24th in opportunity share. Mike Davis, 235. Ronald Jones, 234. You have a range here. Mike Davis was RB12. Ronald Jones, RB20. Really strong indicator that if you get the 250 total stats, you're going to have a really strong chance at a running back one season. So now we're starting to just kind of layer some different targets and some thresholds here. Here's another one. Running back twos projected 200 plus total carries and targets. That's a really strong indicator. If I scroll back up here and kind of just we're looking at the opportunity column. Look at all of these guys are at 200. I mean, basically David Johnson, 193, J.D. McKissick, 195, right around 200, and those guys still finished as RB2s last season. Now, there are some outliers. I mean, RB31 Devin Singletary here. He had 206 total opportunities. He just doesn't score touchdowns. So there are some outliers here. Frank Gore, same thing. He had a lot of opportunities, wasn't a very good PPR back, didn't score a lot of touchdowns. So for the majority of this, if you see a running back projected over 200 in total carries plus targets, really strong indicator that that's going to be a running back two at least. And then I kind of just show you guys some of the running backs ranked 25th through 48th. And again, this is all filtered by opportunity share. You want a running back that's going to get a lot of opportunity. So if you do sign up for the 2021 draft kit, you're going to get all these rules here. Basically, I'm just showing the article that you'd be paying for if you were interested in this. But you also, I guess the most important thing is you're going to get access to my projections, and you can kind of, just filter and tinker around and see what we're looking at. And again, I'm just going to filter here by opportunity. And if I had to, again, these are just numbers. Not everyone's going to stay healthy. If I had to, project which running backs have, I have basically 24 running backs on my list here that I would say probably have a really good chance of finishing as a top 24 running back. Maybe some of them do, some of them don't. But these, of all the running backs in the NFL this season, I would say draft from this list. So that's all the guys I have highlighted here. Let me just filter down. Basically, I have no complaints with any of these running backs on the list at the highlighted positions you see here. So I don't know. I think that's going to do it for this video. It's the 2020 Opportunity Report. You can check out the 2021 draft kit. We have projections. We have rankings. I got some cheat sheets available for download if you're drafting. Just let me know if you guys need anything specific on that. Opportunity report, we just covered that. I think in the coming days, I'm going to cover the wide receivers. Let's just kind of click on that real quick, and I'll show you guys a sneak preview. But looking at the wide receivers, Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins. Look at all these names here that finished as wide receivers last season. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is basically telling me 8 of the receivers who finished in the top of opportunity share finished as wide receiver ones last year. The guys that did not, Robbie Anderson, Curtis Samuel, Deontay Johnson, and Terry McLaurin, these guys just didn't really score a lot of touchdowns. Deontay Johnson was kind of inefficient with his targets with Ben Roethlisberger, but there's a really strong chance that if you finish high in opportunity share, you're gonna get a good wide receiver one for the majority. Basically, it's 75 to 80% chance that happens, and then you have again, opportunity share. The higher you do in this number with targets and rushing attempts, the better it's going to be. The guy that's really interesting here, though, keep an eye on Robert Woods. A lot of rushing attempts. Same as Curtis Samuel. That could be kind of fun. But that's going to do it for this video. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. Leave me a comment what you guys think of this statistic. Again, if you subscribe to the 2021 Draft Kit, you're going to get my opportunity share numbers. At some point this season, we're going to go over target shares and what those means. We're also going to look at the yardage percentages here. So these are 3 stats that I last year, these stats helped me be very successful in fantasy football. So I'm just trying to share them. If you're interested in that, purchase the 2021 Draft Kit. And thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good night.